This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Please come in.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Please sit down.
Sir.
Mr. Nittin Singh.
Yes, sir.
So you originally come from Kathua area.
Yes, sir.
I still live there.
Yes, sir.
You did computer sciences from IIT Ropar.
Yes, sir.
Then, but you took geography as a subject,
Yes, sir.
as an optional subject. So you've got a lot of hobbies: stitching, sewing. Okay, very good. Listening and singing songs.
Yes, sir.
So which kind of songs you sing, by the way?
Sir, I listen to all the songs, but predominantly certain old songs and romantic songs.
Okay. So you sing Hito Didi, Hito Bula, things like
Which one, sir?
Hito Didi, Hito Bula kind of thing? Local Kashmiri? No?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
So the folk, I do listen to folk songs as well, but they are Dogri songs and Himachali.
Okay. Now tell me, there was after doing computer sciences, there is now large number of people try civil services. What was your trigger to think of civil services?
Sir, it was always the first aspiration, the civil services. That IIT I did because that I had to do as for graduation, as well as moreover I was very much interested in sciences. So I wanted to do that. But the ultimate goal has always been the civil services.
Okay, very good. Government of India has taken an initiative called Bhashini. Have you heard of?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So they have taken this, the recent developments that we had in ChatGPT that was powered by Microsoft. So what government is trying to do is that through Bhashini, they are creating a portal which employs ChatGPT's model and provides a one-stop solution for queries of the farmers and general public regarding government welfare schemes. So what they are planning to do is that any person can ask in their native language, and that will be translated and interpreted, and the corresponding solution will be given by the ChatGPT regarding the government schemes which are available and how one can approach them.
So how will it be different from Alexa or Google?
Sir,
or others?
Sir, Alexa is very basic as compared to ChatGPT. Even in fact, I have myself chatted with that model. So I've seen that Alexa does very basic command work. Only you give certain commands and it follows that. But
That is what you will do in Bhashini also.
But sir, the model that they are employing is that it will try to capture the context as well as semantics of the command, and in what context what is saying a person is saying, and it can interpret very complex languages as well, very complex long arguments. So that is a very plus point over Alexa, and moreover the language part is there. So they are expecting that a lot
So suppose you are in charge, say somewhere in one of the districts in say Kashmir, which is a very relatively sensitive place.
Yes.
In terms of seismic activity. And you have been given, okay, there is a forecast for this, let us do something.
Yes, sir.
What are the steps that you will?
Sir, we can first of all make people aware, and Kashmir Valley is almost zone 5, so
That's fine. What
that
else?
needs to be done. Apart from that, sir, the building code that is being implemented over there, it must be ensured that it is.
That is for the new buildings.
Yes, sir.
If buildings are already standing, what will you do there?
Sir, in those regions we can work for decongestion of the areas, so that in case of any occurrence, there is minimal.
Anything else?
Apart from that, sir, earthquake is a very
Old buildings, can you do something?
yes, sir. Sir, those can be further. We can check whether they can stand any earthquake or not, and if it is unsafe, then these need to be abandoned.
Well,
Yes, sir.
is there something called retrofitting?
Sir, I'm not particularly aware of this.
So Nittin with a double T.
Yes, sir.
Why double T?
Sir, the language that we speak, Dogri. So in that, there is a stress on the sound of the whenever they say Nittin. So they say Nittin. So it is reflected in double T.
Okay. And how do you write it in Hindi? It's just the or the
Sir, dash over
with the dash over.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have studied from IIT Ropar.
Yes, sir.
When was it established?
Sir, in 2008, the academic year of 2008, it was established.
And it got the campus in 2008 itself or later on?
No, sir. The campus was as late as in 2018. Its permanent campus was ready. So first classes were held in 2018-19.
Okay. And before that, where?
Earlier, sir, there was one government polytechnic college, which was being used as a transit campus.
Okay. So it took almost 10 years
Yes,
for IIT Ropar to, and you graduated in 2019.
Yes, sir.
So you started living in the IIT Ropar.
So we have, in fact, seen all the campuses. Even the first one that we have, government polytechnic. After that, also there was one small transition. We went there as well, and then we were finally introduced to the permanent campus.
Okay. So how many IITs are there now?
Sir, I think there are 23, but I'm not very sure of this number.
Have you visited any of the older IITs also?
Sir, during my counseling session, I visited IIT Roorkee, and apart from that, I haven't.
Okay. So do you think what kind of infrastructure needs to be created in the new IITs, which is already there in the old ones?
Sir, infrastructure-wise, those who are already in their permanent campus, they are very good. In fact, they are better than the older ones. And what needs to be done is that a legacy or a brand has to be developed for new ones. For example, this IIT Kharagpur, it has a very strong legacy based on its alumni as well. So that needs to be done for the new IITs. Infrastructure-wise, they are doing fine. And in fact, their campuses are also very large as compared to older ones.
So legacy also comes from the alumni.
Yes.
What kind of legacy you want to leave for IIT Ropar?
So a very good civil servant and a person with a very clear goal, what needs to be done and what has to be done. So they must be proud of that.
If you had a very clear goal, why didn't you go for the graduation in arts?
So that was the clear goal, sir, that I wanted to do graduation from sciences because of the love for sciences. And for living, I had to do civil services as a job.
Okay. What is reflective writing?
Sir, certain times I do dwell on certain thoughts which I think that they must be written. So I write them down, and during writing also one can think and one can reflect upon ideas. So this is basically what it is.
So do you write daily or on certain
No, sir,
occasions?
on certain occasions, not daily.
When was the last time you wrote something?
Sir, the last thing I wrote was around 2 weeks earlier. So it was, I had gone to my native district, so it was about that.
Okay. Is it something personal or you can share with us?
No, sir, I can share. I actually went to my sister. She is posted somewhere else, so in another district. So I drove to that place, and it was a drive through mountains. So I wrote about that.
What did you write? Tell us something.
Sir, the basic idea was that how a river which is very shapeless, which is formless, not river, water which is formless, which can take every other form, and it doesn't have any form of its own. But when it gets a direction, when it gets certain amount of velocity, it can, penetrate through very large mountains as well. So it was that, related to that.
Okay. Coming to your other hobby, like what is difference between stitching and sewing?
Yes, sir. Sir, sewing is about making apparels out of cloth. Stitching is, it is more broader than that. And in stitching, we can have certain stitches which are used to mend certain torn cloths. Apart from that, we have craft as well, which is based on stitching. So stitching is the use of needle, while sewing is predominantly use of sewing machine.
Okay. So needlework is basically stitching.
It is a part of that.
So like many of the people, especially the women, they kind of do the needlework with the threads and they make many artifacts with that. Do you do also?
So I don't do that one stitching. What the stitching, that portion that I do is stitching of clothes if they are torn. And the basic trigger behind is that it gives satisfaction and a sense of self-reliance. And I have done a few art craft related stitching as well, but that I won't claim that I am very adept.
Have you heard of bandhej from Rajasthan?
Yes, sir.
Is that in like stitching or sewing or something different? How do they do that?
I think, sir, that is different. I'm not very sure of that, sir.
But they use thread in that.
Okay.
In the dyeing process, they use it.
Yes, it is related to dyeing.
All right. Sir, please.
Thank you, sir. So, hello, Nittin. Let's just continue with the, stitching and sewing. The first impression that comes when you talk about stitching and sewing is, women or females. It's kind of, certain other professions as well. You think about a nurse, say, the natural tendency is to think about a woman. Why do you think that, some professions become gendered or, their gender stereotypes develops? What is your take? Why is this thing happens?
Sir, what I think is that for a very long period of time in history, we had this division of labor among males and females. So, and gradually as economy grew, men were, they indulged in outside activities while female were confined to homes. So, any activity which could be done at home at the comfort of their own home, it was gradually confined to women only. So that's what we can see in cooking, in sewing, and other related household chores. So that is one reason. But now there is a consciousness regarding this that it necessarily not needs to be so. So we are working in that as a society.
Okay, all right. So what is your take regarding the participation of women in, armed forces or police forces?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is very welcome step in a way that it gives equal opportunity to all humans to serve the nation in a manner that they want to. And in a way, it is also very progressive for India as a society, where women are seen as equal partners and capable of defending the nation. So I think that it needs to be done further, and we can expect in combat roles as well. Recently, Supreme Court has allowed in non-combative roles.
Okay. Like you earlier mentioned, you were having a discussion with sir where you mentioned that there are geologists who are saying that a big magnitude earthquake might be due in the Himalayas. So when we have that kind of knowledge, should we construct large projects? We are already doing in Uttarakhand. There is an argument that we should exploit the potential in Jammu and Kashmir as well. So do you think this is a good strategy to have such large projects in the fragile region?
Sir, again, we have to adapt our projects as per the geography of the region. And regarding uncontrolled growth, we have seen that results in Joshimath of Uttarakhand. So that is a warning which can work as a good, warning sign for us and can guide us how we can
Then how can we actually utilize the potential?
Sir,
if we are
this
not
is-
going for large
Yes, sir.
projects, what is the alternate?
So this is not the only way. In fact, sir, instead of large reservoirs, we can have runoff river dams, which are very ecologically sustainable. Apart from that, sir, small-scale projects are very useful. Small-scale hydro projects are very useful for hydroelectric potential. And even in the construction of roads, we can utilize one that is along the ridge rather than going along the valley. So this is one construction that can be used, a manner of construction. So we have to adapt to the local ecology.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's all. Over to you, sir.
All right. Hello, Nittin. Recently, lithium reserves were found.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you are to draft a policy on how to, best utilize this reserve, what all things will you take care of?
So first of all, I have to take the account of the stock that is available for mining. Then I will have to see what purpose we are going to use that resource. For example, whether it's battery making and or it's export based. And apart from that, we will have to see how it is going to work for the local economy. We have to take that factors as well. Then we will have to consider the environmental and the ecological cost that it can cause. And apart from that, the fragility of the region is also one factor which will guide our way of mining. And these are the dominant major factors.
All right. And you're a student of geography also. Can you tell me why is it that the area of Jammu and Kashmir, is there a geographical reason that Jammu and Kashmir has so many, valuable resources?
Sir, in Jammu and Kashmir, sir, we have the main mining is of this cement and limestone also there we have found. Apart from that, we have certain small reserves of coal. So the reason is the Himalayas and their structural makeup, these marine sediments that they are made of. So they have very rich limestone and the raw material for cement industry. Apart from that, sir, I'm not aware of very large resources as compared to the Chota Nagpur Plateau or southern Karnataka Plateau.
Can you tell me the importance of Himalayas in monsoons?
Sir, Himalayas play a very dominant role in confining the monsoons to the Indian subcontinent, and they work as a strong, shield which limits Indian monsoons. Apart from that, the Tibet region, it also plays a very dominant role in the burst of the monsoons. So that is also related to Himalayas. And then we have one theory by Yin's theory about subtropical westerly jet stream, which gets dissected due to the Himalayas. And it creates upper tropospheric conditions which further push and pull the southwest monsoons towards India.
You've taken computer science and engineering also. Can you tell me first the science in quantum computing, and then tell me what problem does it solve?
So quantum computing is based on the quantum bits. In traditional computer science, we have 0 and 1 bits. So they are either 0 or either 1. But quantum bits, they can have both the these states simultaneously. So this is one very high, I can say, plus point of quantum over traditional. And the problem is that in computer we have this certain NP-hard problems. It is a very technical term, but what is in this is that the problem grows exponentially. The computation time grows exponentially with the size of the problem. So this can be solved by the quantum computers in a very small amount of time. So in fact, this was demonstrated by Google's their computer, in which they solved a problem which could have taken more than 200 years in just 11 to 12 seconds. So that is the one, in fact, they talk about quantum supremacy. So this is the very promising field of quantum computers.
All right, thank you, Nittin.
So, I think, you've been saying sir and sir many times. I think that looked excessive. So, with this comment, I think otherwise you've been very good. You're confident, you're clear-headed. Only thing is that content is slightly missing. You should work on the content, and I'm sure you should be doing well. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All the best.